Hey, what's up? This is Rodney, and I'm back just to basically talk about the whole Nicki Minaj and Miley Cyrus incident that happened at the VMAs this past weekend. So basically, just to give a short run through of what happened, Nicki Minaj was upset when the VMAs announced the nominations. She was upset because she did not receive, I think, a nomination for Video of the Year for Anaconda, even though when I look at Anaconda, I don't think a Video of the Year, but hey, everybody thinks her shit is a shit. So anyway, she's upset about that. She sends out a tweet basically saying that girls who look like her and are shaped like her basically don't receive love. Taylor Swift responded, even though Nicki didn't even mention Taylor's name. Taylor, girl, you need to stay in your lane. You know, Taylor, girl. I don't know when Taylor. Is her name Taylor or Tyler? Taylor Swift. I don't know when Taylor got so hard. Like, girl, when did you get so hard when you started responding to rappers? But I guess she probably thought that her and Nicki were friends, so that's why she probably thought she would respond. But, you know, of course, Nicki shut that down real fast. I will say that with Nicki making that statement about girls like her being shaped like her not being nominated, I don't think that was something... I think it was all about herself. I really don't think she cares about... Honestly, I really don't think she cares about the movement of girls that are shaped like her or look like her being nominated for in categories. I think it was just a simple fact that Nicki Minaj did not receive a nomination, and that's what it comes down to. So anyways, Miley Cyrus did an interview with, I think, Times New York, New York Times, I'm not sure. And they asked her, and she basically said, you know, Nicki Minaj was making it a race thing, and if you're going to make it a race thing, then basically say, which I didn't disagree with this. You know, she basically said that if you're going to make it a race thing, then, you know, basically say, you know, something along the lines of, you know, girls who look like me or shaped like me should be nominated. She basically worded it to the point where it made sense. Basically saying Nicki Minaj was making it about her and not making it about black women. But what it comes down, and so anyways, at the VMAs, Nicki Minaj went up to accept an award, and she basically called Miley Cyrus out. Now I will say this much. What it comes down to is this. First off, I don't want to hear a white person, especially Miley Cyrus, talking about what a black woman should say. And she did indeed. She may have not did it intentionally, but she did indeed paint Nicki Minaj as an angry black woman because she used the words, you know, Nicki Minaj is angry. No, it was anger in what she said. And she, of course, talked about race. So most people, not most people, could perceive that as her basically painting Nicki Minaj as a black angry woman. The last thing I want to hear is a statement from Miley fucking Cyrus. And I love Miley Cyrus. Bangers is my motherfucking album. I was just listening to that album last night. But I don't want to hear Miley Cyrus talking about race or how a black woman should feel, especially in this time. With all the shit that's going on, the last thing you want to hear is a white person telling a black person basically what they should say and how they should act. And honestly, I think that's why Nicki probably responded. You know, and I've read comments, people saying, you know, Nicki wouldn't have done that if it was Lil' Kim or any other rapper. She probably wouldn't have taken it that far, but I have seen Nicki Minaj interviews, and she has called Lil' Kim out, so don't even try to pull it. She has called Lil' Kim out and vice versa. But if she probably wouldn't have hopped on stage and did that. But I think it's completely different when it's a white, and don't get it twisted, I'm not racist. I love white people. I've slept with white men. But I think it's completely different when you have a white person calling you out or saying things that you disagree with versus a black person. You know, a black person can probably say something to you and you be like, bitch, fuck you. But if a white person says something to you, you take it completely different, like, bitch, what? And again, especially with the shit that's going on now, you know, I feel like white people shouldn't really mention anything about race to black people, especially people who I feel are not educated enough to even talk about situations or how black people should act or behave. You know, then of course I had a conversation with one of my coworkers, and they were like, And they were like, one coworker was like, Nicki Minaj shouldn't have, Nicki Minaj is a grown ass woman. This bitch is sitting up there in a $10,000 gown, $30,000 worth of new work done on her body, $1,000 pair of shoes on, and like a $2,000 wig, and she's getting up there arguing with this little white girl. Like, why you got this little white girl making you so bothered? Then I had another coworker who was basically saying like, I'm with Nicki. I would have I would have called that bitch out too. Like, bitch, what you want to do? Like, bitch, don't even play with me. Like, you need to stay with people in your lane. Like, Miley Cyrus, you deal with those bitches like Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and Lady Gaga. Don't come over here in this lane, because this is not what you want. And honestly, I had to agree with my second coworker. Like, I'm with her. Like, Miley, stay in your lane. And at the end of the day, what people need to realize is Miley is a grown ass woman. Miley is not a child. I've heard people, even from Wendy, and I love Wendy Williams. But even when Wendy Williams was like, Nicki, she was disappointed in Nicki because Miley is a child. Miley is not a child. Yes, I think Nicki is 32 and I think Miley is 22, but Miley is very much a grown-ass woman. That bitch has sucked dick and she eats fish. And I'm not talking about fried catfish. The bitch is bisexual, so she's very much grown. That bitch has traveled around the world. Do you hear what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, bitch, if you're going to step into a grown woman's lane, then you need to get ready for a grown woman's game. That's all it comes down to. It has nothing to do... I think people still look at Miley Cyrus as being Hannah Montana and just a child who's just wild. But again, you have to look at Miley Cyrus as a grown woman. Miley Cyrus is 22, baby. That's grown. Hell, y'all were considering Kylie Jenner grown when she was 16, walking around here looking like a hoe. Now she turned 18, baby. Y'all just think she's the baddest bitch walking across the land. So, bitch, if you can consider if you can consider Kylie Jenner grown at 18, then, bitch, you have to consider Miley Cyrus grown at 22. Shit. The fuck? So, anyways, I don't think it was... At first, I thought it was a publicity stunt. But then, I really don't think it was. But even if it was, or even if it wasn't, when it comes down to it, on this one, I'm Team Nicki. Again, like I said, it's different when a white person says something, especially in the times that we're in, with all the Black Lives Matter and things like that. A white person says something and you're going to feel some type of way about it, versus a black person may say something. And again, it just comes down to one of those things where, have you heard I don't know if I just said, I've been drinking, girl. It comes down to, when people say you pick your own battles, and I do believe that. Certain things you just let slide, and certain things you feel like you need to address. And I feel like this is a battle that Nicki felt like she could win. Nicki Minaj, she did smile while she was accepting her speech, but I don't think that was a smile like, oh yeah, I'm playing. Nicki Minaj is not stupid, first of all. I think that was a smile like one. You know how black people smile like, yeah, bitch, I got your ass. Like, I just pulled your number. But I think she also smiled so she could backtrack and say that she was joking. Even though I don't think that bitch was joking. I think she was for real, but because of the media, she's gonna smile. Because if it comes back, she's going to say, I was just joking. That's why I smiled. Because after the VMAs, she sent out a tweet that said LMAFO with like a heart and like a smiley face. So I think Nicki Minaj is not a dumb bitch, But I think she meant what she said, as far as like Miley, like, bitch, don't pull it. Don't even pull it. Go play with these little white girls because I'm not that bitch to play with. And that's all I have to say.